Welcome to another Seidokan Saturday. So today, I'm going to piggyback off last week's rather long-winded explanation on punching. Please watch that for a lot of the particulars of hand position and so forth. We're going to start with one of the four uses of the straight punch, which is simply our practice standing in place, known as Seiken. Seiken means straight fist. So we're going to look at the stance, combined with the hip, combined with the concepts of economy of motion, all of which you should go back if you haven't already seen, because they're all incorporated here. Other uses of this fist formation are oizuki, which is a stepping front punch, or lunge punch, Choku zuki, which is the opposite hip, the back hip. In boxing, it would be your cross, okay? Or the kizamizuki, where I'm not stepping into it necessarily, maybe a small step, but pretty much just firing off of that front hip. So we have the jab, either hand. We have the front punch, which steps with my body weight into it. We have the reverse punch, which again can step or not, but is coming off of the rear hip, the rear leg. But today we're going to look just at the basic Seiken as practiced in almost every dojo in the warm-up. Now, variations on stance and so forth. Some will go wider, some narrower. Straddle stance, horse stance, sanchin dachi. Okay, Ishinryu, Wing Chun tend to use this with the hips lifted and forward. Okay, a lot of variations on where to practice this, but for our purposes today, we're going to start in yoi, ready position. My yoi in my dojo is shoulder width. We start with our bow. We would then step out to the left, bringing our fists in and down into position. Now you'll see a lot of people exaggerate this from the bow or as they step out, kicking their legs, stomping, going extra wide. There are versions in Kempo we practiced frequently in horse stance, where my feet are parallel and I'm sitting. You'll see a pseudo horse stance, basically a straddle stance, where you're really wide. Some of those limit the hip and waist movement that I want to emphasize in our basic punch. So for our purposes, we're going to yoi, which is shoulder width, hands down and forward. Not up and out, not exaggerated, simple, centered, allowing for good movement, okay? The yoi to start with, if you're uncomfortable or can't find that width, start with your feet all the way together, lift on your heels, pull the toes outward, lift on your toes, push the heels outward, and then come parallel by pushing your toes even with the heels. That will put you, for your own body size, in your optimal shoulder-ish width position. The chambering from here of the arm, if I bend my elbow 90 degrees, place the other hand under it and come straight back until my fist is behind that hand, will be where I want to be chambered. That allows my punch to travel in as much of a straight line as possible. My punch for chudan, or middle level, is going below shoulder width. Notice that it's almost exactly the height where my hand was, and then as I pull back, it stays at that height, okay? This allows me to practice a principle which I don't know if I've addressed yet, of a hard weapon attacking a soft target. This being the solar plexus, right where your sternum ends and the soft spot behind which my diaphragm attaches, the solar plexus. This is a good place to knock the wind out of somebody. So we start with our stance. You can do the feet out or just know that that's comfortably where you want to be. We chamber the hands. I then bring my left hand forward to address or set the target at which I'm going to practice. Now this is a very maligned practice technique in a lot of contemporary mixed martial art and reality fighting, but it's great practice to time my hips, my upper back, my relaxation and tension level, movement of the gamaku, the waist, or the koshi, the hips. So very useful. Knees slightly flexed, feet shoulder width. Hand on target, hand chambered. From here, I tighten my lats. Master Tamai, our Seidokan headmaster, likes to say, upper back tight. And it's basically, I'm just squeezing my elbow as if I'm trying to touch it together with my other elbow behind me. So that if you look at my gi, you can see that the crinkles in the back are where I'm squeezing together, or upper back tight, which is what he talks about. So I'm chambered, my stance, my target, my elbow is tucked. I relax the hip and then drive the hip forward, but be careful that as I do that, notice how my elbow goes that way. So at the same time as I'm driving my hip, I want to be pushing forward my punch, pulling back with the other hand. Then as I complete, I lock into place, upper back tightens again, lower back squeezes again to tighten the hips into position. Release, upper back tight, low back relaxed, pressing forward without letting my elbow go out, pulling both elbows in by my ribs, continue the hip forward, then low back tightens over here, upper back tightens here, and we finish the punch. Rotate, tighten, extend, push, pull, finish. Tight, 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 relax, push, pull, finish. Okay? That's your basic Seiken zuki. So 10 punches in a row, fast, aiming right at that mid-level. Basic Seiken straight fist punch. As you see, there's a lot to it, but at the same time, it's just a punch. There are areas we want to watch for. Allow my hips to rotate. Don't allow my elbow to fly to the side. Keep the shoulder pressed and down. When I finish the punch, I'm compressed in the armpit, tight, lats tightened and locked, low back tightens and locked. Enough movement to allow enough relaxation to allow for free movement of the hips and the waist. Okay, one more time. Basic Seiken zuki. Continue practicing. Next week, oizuki, the stepping front punch.